Football, in its purest form, is not merely a game of margins, but a continuous test of psychological endurance and tactical patience. When the final whistle blew at the Toronto Stadium, the air was thick with the exhaustion of nearly 110 minutes of pure drama, leaving 22 men physically spent and an entire stadium gasping for breath. The round of 32 at the 2026 World Cup was supposed to be a standard knockout fixture, but instead, it transformed into a timeless epic between Portugal and Croatia. The immediate emotional fallout was visual storytelling at its finest, as Croatian players collapsed to the turf in utter disbelief, their hearts broken by the cruelest intervention of modern technology, while the Portuguese collapsed in sheer relief, knowing they had just survived a footballing tactical war. It was a match defined by late tension, agonizing video assistant referee interventions, and historical destiny, cementing itself as one of the most nerve-wracking encounters in recent World Cup history. To truly understand the weight of this match, one must look past the final scoreline and dive deep into the rich historical and emotional tapestry that framed this generational clash. This was far more than a battle for a place in the round of 16, it was a poetic chapter in the twilight of two of the greatest modern footballing icons to ever grace the pitch. Cristiano Ronaldo and Luka Modric, two former teammates who had conquered Europe together, stood on opposite sides of the pitch, carrying the collective weight, dreams, and historical pressure of their respective nations. For Modric, the veteran midfield maestro, this tournament represented the final dance of a golden Croatian generation that had continuously defied the odds on the global stage, punching far above their weight through sheer technical mastery and unyielding psychological resilience. On the other side, Cristiano Ronaldo was fighting against his own historical demons, entering this match with a lingering narrative hanging heavily over his legacy, having never scored a single goal in the knockout stages of a World Cup across 6 consecutive tournament appearances. The media pressure on both managers was immense, with Roberto Martinez needing to prove that his star-studded Portuguese side possessed the tactical maturity to match their individual brilliance, while Croatia sought redemption for past heartbreaks. This underlying tension transformed every pass, every duel, and every tactical instruction into a high-stakes chess match where the loser would face international retirement and the end of a golden era. The opening exchanges of the match immediately established a clear tactical narrative, with Portugal looking to dominate the tempo through sustained possession while Croatia maintained a highly disciplined defensive shape. In the 4th minute of play, the technical framework of Portugal's attacking design manifested in a dangerous opportunity. Portugal's midfield line had pushed high up the pitch, successfully pinning the Croatian defensive block deep within their own penalty area. The pressure on the ball was intense, forcing a momentary lapse in the Croatian clearance. The ball broke loose at the edge of the area, and Bruno Fernandes, anticipating the second ball with perfect positioning, unleashed a powerful, low-driven, one-touch strike aimed precisely at the bottom left corner of the net. The Croatian goalkeeper, Dominik Livakovic, read the trajectory brilliantly, executing a sharp, low save to parry the initial effort away. The ball rebounded back into the danger zone, where Fernandes once again reacted fastest, but his follow-up attempt was desperately blocked by a retreating Croatian defender. This early scare sent a wave of tactical adrenaline through both teams, proving to Portugal that the Croatian low block could be penetrated, while simultaneously warning Croatia that any failure to secure the half spaces would be ruthlessly punished. As the first half progressed, the physical intensity began to escalate, forcing the referee, Espen Eskas, to establish a firm boundary. In the 17th minute, the tactical context shifted as Croatia attempted to transition rapidly from defense to attack. Ruben Dias, recognizing the danger of a counter-attacking exploit through the central channel, committed a highly aggressive, cynical challenge to disrupt the momentum. The referee did not hesitate, issuing a yellow card to the Portuguese centre-back. This booking carried massive psychological and tactical consequences for the remainder of the first half, as Dias was forced to temper his defensive aggression, altering how Portugal managed their high-press triggers and forcing his defensive partner, Renato Veiga, to cover more space laterally to protect his cautioned teammate. The first half subsequently concluded in a tense, tactical stalemate, with both managers utilizing the 15-minute interval to adjust their tactical blueprints. The second half commenced with immediate intent from both sides, as Croatia introduced Igor Matanovic for Ante Butimir to provide a more dynamic presence up front. In the 48th minute, Mateo Kovacic showcased his immense physical and technical profile. Receiving the ball in the left half space, Kovacic used his raw power and technical sequencing to barrel past two Portuguese defenders, breaking into the 18-yard box. He drove a low, powerful shot toward the bottom left corner, but Diogo Costa showcased exceptional positional awareness, diving low to make a comfortable save and conceding a corner. This individual brilliance from Kovacic acted as a catalyst, signaling a significant shift in psychological momentum toward the Croatian side. This building pressure culminated in the 53rd minute with the opening goal of the match. The setup saw Croatia patiently recycling possession on the right flank, dragging the Portuguese defensive line horizontally and creating a momentary disconnect between Nuno Mendes and Renato Veiga. Josip Stanisic, spotting the structural flaw, delivered an exquisite, looping cross over the defensive line into the penalty area. Ivan Perisic, executing a perfectly timed blindside run, ghosted past João Cancelo, controlled the ball, and unleashed a spectacular, low-driven volley into the bottom right corner of the net. The tactical blueprint had worked flawlessly, breaking the deadlock and establishing a 0-1 lead for Croatia. The aftermath of this goal sent shockwaves through the Portuguese technical area. The psychological morale of the Croatian team soared, while Portugal looked momentarily disorganized, their defensive stability shattered by a single moment of elite spatial exploitation. Responding to the deficit, Portugal immediately threw bodies forward, and just 3 minutes later, in the 56th minute, Croatia thought they had doubled their lead when Igor Matanovic found the back of the net, only for the assistant referee's flag to correctly disallow the goal for an offside offense during the build-up. This narrow escape revitalized Portugal, who instantly clicked into their high-press triggers. In the 58th minute, a rapid vertical transition found Rafael Leo exploding with sheer pace down the left wing. Cutting inside onto the edge of the penalty area, Leo unleashed a ferocious, curling effort that beat Livakovic but crashed violently against the crossbar. The sheer velocity of the strike left the stadium in awe, indicating that the tactical momentum was swinging back in Portugal's favor. The match then entered a chaotic, hyper-extended sequence governed entirely by the video assistant referee. In the 61st minute, Cristiano Ronaldo turned the ball into the net from close range, sparking wild celebrations, only for the VAR to intervene and rule the goal out for a marginal offside in the prior phase of play. This emotional roller coaster reached a boiling point as Roberto Martinez made a frantic, quadruple tactical substitution in the 62nd and 63rd minutes, introducing Goncalo Ramos, Nelson Semedo, Francisco Conceição, and Bernardo Silva to completely reshape Portugal's attacking identity into a hyper-aggressive 3-2-4-1 shape. Amidst this tactical reshuffle, Luka Modric committed a tactical foul to break up a Portuguese counter-attack, earning himself a yellow card in the 59th minute. In the 64th minute, a chaotic scramble ensued in the Croatian penalty box as Portugal demanded a penalty for a suspected foul. The referee initially waved play on, but a minute later, the VAR advised Espen Eskas to review the pitch side monitor. After careful deliberation, the referee pointed to the penalty spot in the 67th minute. Step forward, Cristiano Ronaldo. Facing immense psychological weight, Ronaldo remained coolly composed. He waited with calculated patience for Dominik Livakovic to commit to a dive before gently, almost disrespectfully, stroking the ball directly down the center of the goal. With that single kick, the score was leveled at 1-1, and history was rewritten as Ronaldo finally scored his first-ever World Cup knockout goal, breaking a six-tournament curse and setting off a wave of emotional euphoria across the Portuguese squad. The final 10 minutes of normal time were filled with heart-stopping drama. In the 75th minute, Mateo Kovacic nearly produced a goal of the tournament contender, embarked on a dazzling solo run from midfield, cutting through the heart of the Portuguese defense before unleashing a venomous shot that struck the outside of the right post. Sensing the extreme fatigue of his players, Martinez substituted Ronaldo for Ruben Neves in the 81st minute to restore defensive stability. Simultaneously, Croatia's Petr Susic had a goal ruled out for offside in the 80th minute after a lengthy VAR review confirmed a marginal infraction. As the match entered a staggering 19 minutes of injury time due to the extensive VAR delays, the physical and tactical discipline of both teams began to fray. In the 94th minute, the decisive moment arrived. Portugal earned a set-piece opportunity, and Rafael Leo delivered a beautifully flighted, lofted cross into the dangerous corridor between the goalkeeper and the defensive line. Goncalo Ramos, reacting with the predatory instinct of a hungry predator, attacked the space, outleaping his marker to power a header from close range past the stranded Livakovic into the right corner of the net. The tactical adjustment to bring on Ramos had paid dividends, sending Portugal into a 2-1 lead and triggering unbridled chaos on the bench. Yet, the drama was far from over. In the 98th minute, Ivan Perisic received a yellow card for a desperate tactical foul as Croatia tried to halt Portugal's time-wasting tactics. In the 114th minute, Croatia threw everyone forward, including their defenders. Mario Pasalic delivered a hopeful ball into the box, which was knocked down into the path of Josko Gvardiol, who tapped the ball into an empty net to make it 2-2. The Croatian bench emptied in celebration, believing they had rescued their World Cup dream. However, the silent controllers in the VAR room intervened once more. After an agonizing 3-minute review, the referee Espen Eskes signaled that the Croatian player was marginally offside when the initial ball was played. The goal was disallowed, shattering Croatian hearts into a million pieces. Portugal managed to navigate the remaining minutes of injury time, sealing a monumental 2-1 victory as the referee finally blew his whistle in the 90+19th minute. This monumental victory for Portugal marks a definitive turning point in their 2026 World Cup campaign, validating Roberto Martinez's tactical flexibility and squad depth. By successfully navigating the tactical minefield laid by Croatia, Portugal have proved that they possess not just the individual artistry, but the collective steel and psychological fortitude required to go all the way in this tournament. For Cristiano Ronaldo, breaking his knockout stage curse lifts an immense psychological burden, potentially unlocking a vein of form that could define the remainder of his international career. They advance to the round of 16 with an enhanced sense of destiny, knowing they can survive the ultimate tactical and emotional stress tests. Conversely, for Croatia, this defeat signals the agonizing, heartbreaking end of a legendary era. The narrow nature of their defeat, dictated by the absolute finest margins of VAR offside calls, will leave deep psychological scars. It is highly likely that this match represents the final World Cup appearance for icons like Luka Modric and Ivan Perisic, forcing the Croatian Football Federation into an immediate, challenging period of generational transition. Their tactical blueprint was superb, but football can be a cruel, unforgiving sport where inches decide legacies. As the Portuguese celebrate and the Croatians mourn, the global football community is left to dissect one of the most structurally complex and emotionally exhausting matches in modern history. Was the extensive intervention of VAR a victory for sporting justice, or did it rob the beautiful game of its natural emotional soul?